know this is a lousy assignment. Just give it a chance. It won't be so bad.
I'd just like to add my welcome to Marshal O'Neill. I'm sure we all agree he'll have a pleasant tour. Right now he's just getting started here. Pretty soon he'll see that this is just like every other mining town. There's never much trouble.
Incident in the mine yesterday. It looks like some guy just went wacko. It happens every once in a while up here. Some people just let this place get to them.
Is it a drug?
Right. Some kind of narcotic.
How deep are you in?
I paid to look the other way.
I'm gonna bust you.
You're talking about the general manager.
That stuff they're selling is killing me.
Try and meddle, I want you to know what you're meddling with. Dead.
Outland was released in May of 1981, directed by Peter Hames and starring Sean Connery. Peter Hames had some recent success with his 1978 movie Capricorn One, which was a science fiction thriller about a Mars landing hoax. Outland had a solid budget of around 17 million and made its money back and created a small profit worldwide, but wasn't a huge success despite positive reviews from critics praising the film and Sean Connery's performance. It was produced by the Ladd Company, which was set up after Alan Ladd left his job as president of 20th Century Fox. Before he left Fox, the studio had produced Alien, so when it came to Outland, I'm sure studios at the time were looking for movies of a similar nature in style and content. Outland very much has a similar look to Alien. Even the title sequence bears a striking resemblance to Alien with its execution and music. The movie is very much a western set in space, borrowing ideas from the classic 50s film High Noon, starring Gary Cooper, where a town marshal is forced to face a gang of killers by himself. Peter Hames actually hired some of the technical crew from Alien to work on Outland: set decorator Stuart Rose, costume designer John Mollo, and model maker Martin Bauer, and even some of the crew from Superman the movie, editor Stuart Baird and effects supervisor Roy Field. Peter Hames is one of the few directors who photographed his own movies as well. Outland credits Stephen Goldblatt as the cinematographer. Peter Hames actually photographed the majority of the movie himself. Stephen was misleadingly hired by Hames, apparently, who only wanted him to stand aside and do nothing, and to use him as a scapegoat for the production company in case anything went wrong while using the front projection Intravision process. According to Goldblatt, he was furious at being lied to and wouldn't have taken the job if he'd known Hames' intentions at the outset. He stayed on in order to learn how to use Intravision, and because as a young cinematographer with a sole prior feature credit, quitting a film would have ruined his career. Stephen went on to photograph Lethal Weapon and Batman Forever. In the future, Federal Marshal William O'Neill is assigned to a tour of duty in a titanium ore mining outpost on a moon near Jupiter. Conditions on the moon are difficult and shifts are long, but huge bonuses are paid. Mining franchise general manager Mark Shepard boasts that since he took over the management, productivity has broken all previous records. The film begins with a miner named Tarlo suffering an attack of psychosis. He sees spiders in his spacesuit and rips it open, resulting in his death by explosive decompression. Later, another miner, Kane, goes outside without his spacesuit and likewise dies from decompression. With the assistance of Dr. Lazarus, O'Neill investigates the deaths. However, another incident happens involving a worker, Sagan, who takes a prostitute hostage and threatens to kill her with a knife. O'Neill attempts to calm the man down by the main door, while O'Neill's sergeant sneaks in via the air duct. Montone kills Sagan with a shotgun before O'Neill can talk to him. O'Neill and Lazarus discover that all the deaths had one thing in common: traces of an amphetamine-type drug in the bloodstream. allowing the miners to work continuously for days at a time until they burn out and turn psychotic. O'Neill uncovers a drug distribution ring run by Shepard and sanctioned by his sergeant. Using surveillance cameras, O'Neill finds and captures one of Shepard's dealers, placing him in isolation. But before he can be questioned, the dealer is killed. Montone is then found strangled. O'Neill does find and destroy the latest shipment of drugs, which were hidden in a food shipment from the Jupiter space station. When Shepard finds out what O'Neill did, he calls in professional hitmen to kill him. O'Neill is ready though, since he has been monitoring Shepard's communications. At this point, the movie evolves into a high noon scenario, as O'Neill waits as the digital clock counts down, the time for the arrival of a shuttle from the space station on the other side of Jupiter. Jerry Goldsmith provides a very unique score. People refer to it as a hardware score, where basically a lot of the music is designed to create an atmosphere to the visuals you are watching. Jerry Goldsmith didn't really like the movie and didn't find it enjoyable to score. He likes working with human elements to create his themes, and he said all the human elements were there on paper, but not on the screen, which I disagree with. Peter Hames said that he felt that this was one of Jerry's best scores. Even though Jerry doesn't like scoring these hardware type soundtracks, composers often produce some great work when they're under stress. So as a listener, we've been given a very good soundtrack, which works very well with the movie, but it's an okay experience to enjoy by itself. A 2-disc limited edition CD set was released a couple of years ago by Film Score Monthly, which is worth tracking down if you're a fan of Jerry Goldsmith. All 70mm blow-up prints, basically back in the day this was the equivalent of IMAX, were encoded for a mega sound option, in which theatres needed to be outfitted with additional required speakers and sound equipment. Outland was one of only 4 films released by Warner Bros. To officially make use of this mega sound format. This new short-lived sound format provided deep bass enhancement to premiere engagements to only a handful of Warner Bros. Features, including Altered States and Superman 2. The visual effects in Outland are very impressive, incorporating a lot of miniatures and front projection. The movie used a new process called Introvision. Introvision was a variation on front projection process that allowed filmmakers to view a finished composite of live action and plate photography through the camera's viewfinder on set and in real time, thus eliminating the need to wait for photochemical compositing to determine if the effect shot was successful. It wasn't used that often before the introduction of digital effects, but a number of big movies did use it, such as Rambo 3, Darkman, Army of Darkness and The Fugitive. A month after the film's release, a series of stories adapting the movie were published in Heavy Metal magazine, till January of '82. I think all the comics were published into one comic at the end, but I'm not entirely sure. It's very hard to get an original copy, but some fans have posted PDFs of the comic to download. Outland instantly grabs your attention by its incredible design and photography. You can clearly see Peter Hames was influenced by Alien, and you could say this film could exist in the same universe. It could easily be a spin-off movie. Sean Connery does a great performance, and probably one of the best of his career at the time, I personally believe. He seems very relaxed in the role, and his character is written to be tailored to his persona and talents. One of the minor gripes with this movie is the casting of O'Neill's kid, Paul. He doesn't even resemble his parents, and his acting is very bad, and one scene which is supposed to be very emotional comes across as embarrassing. Connery does his best, but the kid's performance zaps out a lot of the emotion from the scene and kills it, which is a shame because earlier on when his wife leaves him a goodbye message, it's very effective, and you can see in Sean Connery's performance he is very upset by her leaving, and he plays the message again later on, just so he can hear her voice. Outland is not a film you should rush out and buy immediately, but it's a film you should see when you get the chance. I've seen it loads of times and never get bored of it. If you are expecting an action-packed sci-fi film, then you'll probably be disappointed. There isn't much action in it, and when it does occur it's very low-key and nothing spectacular, but it does the job and fits nicely into the story. There's a reason for the action to happen and not just for the sake of it. The decompression scenes are very silly and unrealistic. There has been many theories about the vacuum of space. Many suggest the fluids in your body would boil and you would swell up in a number of seconds. The blood vessels under your skin may burst, which will cause bruising, which makes you look purple and blue. So I think at the time when Outland was made, some scientists felt that the evidence would point to your head exploding, but that's not the case. Outland is a great combination of the Western scenario, put in a high-tech future background, and it works extremely well, and it should be admired for its great visual effects, Sean Connery's great performance, and Peter Hames' excellent direction.
got the men you want, and it wasn't easy. My people are very unhappy with you. This could cause trouble for us on all the other mining operations.
Tell them not to worry. How good are the men?
The best. They've left on the shuttle arriving Sunday.
They have their own weapons?
Yes.
The target is O'Neill. Marshal here.
Jesus, you better not mess this up. How much help will they have?
9.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. No one here will stick their neck out for anyone.
How many can I cover?
I don't know, sir.
What about you?
Most are young. You know, we have families.
I have a family. I could use a little help. I thought so.
You're supposed to protect us. You're the police. It's your job. Where are your men?
My men are shit.